The Knoll Sales Coach provides account executives with a personal call requirement form. Everyone should go in at least one time and fill out this call requirement form to get an idea of how many calls you need to be making on a weekly basis in order to reasonably expect to hit your budget. Let's take a look at what the form looks like. This is a form that's been filled out. We're going to break it down into smaller parts in just a minute, and we're going to walk through the math. But what you should know is that the 6 highlighted boxes here are the only things you will need to type in, and the form will fill out the rest for you. Let's take a look at the top part of the form first of all. What the form says is this, that in order to make one sale, this particular account executive needs to call on 3 qualified leads. Now, if you used your account qualification criteria form, you're pretty clear what you need in order to call on a qualified lead. What constitutes a qualified lead? This AE needs 3 qualified leads in order to reasonably expect that they will close a sale. They also need 6 unqualified leads, or as we refer to them in the coach, as suspects. They need to look at 6 suspects to uncover 1 qualified lead. So if it takes 6 suspects to find a qualified lead and 3 qualified leads to make a sale, this particular AE will need to look at 18 suspects for every sale that they make, on average. And in this particular case, this average new sale for this AE, which you can pull out of your own internal accounting system, their average new sale generates $25,000 a year. So you're going to be filling out the top part of the form. Let's look at the middle part of the form. For this particular account executive, their 2010-2011 new business goal is $250,000. Since their average new account bills about $25,000, this AE will need 10 new accounts every year in order to reasonably expect that they will hit their new business budget. Since every new sale requires 3 qualified leads, this AE will have to call on approximately 30 qualified leads throughout the year in order to reasonably expect to hit their budget. Since they also require 6 suspects for a qualified lead, they'll need to uncover 180 suspects throughout the year in order to reasonably expect that they will hit their budget. Now, that's a big number. And the way you make big numbers digestible is you break them down into smaller pieces. So we're going to divide that 180 by 12 months, which says every month this AE needs to look at 15 suspects. But when they're going to break that down again into weekly prospecting goals. And in this particular case, this AE, if they will look at 3.8 or 4 suspects every single week, 52 weeks a year, 4 suspects every single week, they can reasonably expect to hit their budget on an ongoing basis. So, 1 sale, 3 qualified leads. 3 qualified leads require 6 unqualified suspects, and the average new sale generates $25,000 annually. You will need to fill in those 3 blank forms. Annual new business goal, $250,000, 10 new accounts, 30 qualified leads, 180 suspects, 3.8 suspects per week. And there's virtually no account executive in the business that can't look at 4 suspects a week every week of the year. So, go to the qualifying form and start filling in your data. Now, in this particular case, we've changed it a little bit. This is an AE who's gone in and said, I need 3 qualified leads in order to close a piece of business, but I find a qualified lead for every 4 suspects that I look at. So this AE doesn't require 6. They require 4. Maybe they're prospecting by category as opposed to just a shotgun approach. For this particular AE, their average new sale generates $30,000 a year because they're better at prospecting. Let's look at the leverage points on this form and see how their requirements for hitting their budgets change. Since their new business goal is $250,000 a year and their average new account brings in $30,000, they only need 8 new accounts each year in order to reasonably expect that they'll hit budget. They need to call on 25 qualified leads, not 30. They need 100 suspects instead of 180. They need 8 per month, and they only need 2 per week. So you make the decision on how you qualify. You make the decision on the size of account that you qualify, but use this form to determine your leverage points. Use this form to look at your personal metrics and determine what you need to do so that you can reasonably expect that every year you will make your new business budget.